Hi, I'm James from the Crescent dev team, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create and jam on a stage in under 10 minutes. So let's get right into it. When you first open Crescent Sun, you'll be greeted by the project browser, where you can load existing projects or create new ones. We're going to be starting from scratch, so let's head over to the new tab. Name our project, and then click the build button. This will take us to the panel mapper, where we first need to either generate or load a pixel map. Let's load one. This pixel map will be available for download so that you can follow along. You can see this pixel map contains information for the mapping of each LED fixture, showing both its resolution and the TX/TY positions on the pixel map. Let's start creating fixtures by entering this information into our Create Group panel. TX is 0, TY is 100, and the resolution is 500 by 300. Let's just set the pitch to 10 for now. Click the plus to create your first group. Let's create groups for the rest of the fixtures in this pixel map. You'll notice that hovering your mouse over a group in the viewport displays information about it. Within the viewport, you can also click on groups to select them, as indicated by a green highlight in the viewport as well as in the outliner. A quick tip for speeding up the fixture creation process is to select groups that have the same dimensions as the one you want to create. Selecting a group will automatically change the values in the Create Group panel to those of the selected group, meaning you now have to type in fewer values, just the new TX and TY positions. Let's finish this up. Now that we've created groups to fill out our pixel map, it's time to move on to the world editor view, where we can build our 3D previs of the stage and map a texture to it. First, we'll arrange our fixtures into a stage. Fixtures can be selected in the world editor using either the select tool in the viewport or by simply clicking on the panel in the outliner. Use the select tool to select G3, our stage's center panel, and pick the move tool to allow us to move our selected fixture by clicking and dragging on it with the mouse. In order to make sure it is perfectly centered in the world view, let's change some values in the attribute editor on the right. Keeping it selected, under the world section, let's find the X, Y, and Z pause, short for position, and make sure all three of these are set to 0. Let's arrange the rest of the panels on the stage. You'll find it isn't very exact using only the Move tool, but we have a setting to smooth out this process. In the Viewport tools, make sure Enable Corner Snapping is toggled on. With this enabled, dragging a fixture using the Move tool displays snapping targets on every fixture. Click down near the desired corner for snapping and drag your fixture close to where you want to attach it. A line should appear showing which points are going to be snapped together. Arrange your stage using this method. Make sure your click and drag starts near the snapping target that you want snapping to be active for. Let's put the DJ booth panel here for now, and click the home button to center the viewport camera on the stage, and use the scroll wheel to zoom in to get a better look. The stage isn't laid out completely realistically yet though. We need to subdivide. Activate the Select tool, and hold Shift while selecting to select every fixture. This can also be done with the Select All button at the top right corner of the outliner. With every panel selected, find the Subdivide button and its respective resolution X and Y controls at the top of the attribute editor. Let's create subdivisions that are 100 by 100, so type 100 into both Res X and Res Y and click Subdivide. Now that the stage is subdivided, we gain even more snapping targets on each fixture, as well as the potential for cool effects that we'll go over in a later tutorial. Select the side fixtures, and use these new snapping points to vertically center them with the rest of the stage. Here's a good trick for aligning the DJ booth. Select it and snap move it over top of the bottom layer of the main panel. And now we're going to nudge it forward in 3D space. With the DJ booth panel selected, go to the attribute editor, set the nudge amount to 1, and click the right arrow on Z-Pause under the World section to move it forward 1 unit. Now, if we select the camera tool rotate, we can see that it has been moved forward in 3D space and is more representative of an actual DJ booth. Now, it's time to texture map the stage. Center and zoom the view again, and once again select all the fixtures. Select the UV tool and begin setting the U and V values in the attribute editor. Make sure both the U and V for this example are set to 0.73. Use the mouse in the viewport to click and drag this blue rectangular bounding box to fit nicely around the stage. To make sure we're mapping it well, Go to the Viewport tools and activate the Show Texture button. You can see now moving the blue boundary moves the texture map on the stage. Center it on the stage. Now you can orbit around the stage for previs. Now we're texture mapped, and it's time to VJ. Navigate to the live view. In the live view, you can see we have 4 decks, a crossfader, clip bins, and more. Let's select a new clip and see what it looks like on our stage. Click drag a clip of your choice from the clip bin into the preview of deck A. Now, if we go back to the world editor, we can pre-visualize our new output on a stage. We can also go to the panel mapper and see the raw output being sent to the video mixers. In the clip bin, we can sort by imported clips, sample clips provided from the software, and Crescent Sun generators, which are under the Gen 2D section. Put clips you like in all 4 decks. Next to the preview of each deck, there is a slider which controls the level of each deck's output, and in the center, you'll find a crossfader. Let's connect a MIDI controller and MIDI map it. Plug in your controller and go to your settings, then to the data mapper section. Move to the MIDI tab of the Connections Manager, and open the Device Manager to make sure your controller is set up. Ours is, but I'll delete this to show you how to connect. Click Create New Mapping, and select your controller from the first 2 dropdowns. You can MIDI map almost anything in Crescent Sun. Let's map the fader for deck A. Right-click the slider, select Learn MIDI, and simply move the slider on your controller that you wish to map. Let's do this for the other 3 decks. Finally, let's map the crossfader. Now we can jam on all these clips using only the controller. Finally, let's show you some effects. Let's go to the effects browser in bin B and click drag FX Colors Receiver into the pipeline under deck A. Make sure it's set to on, and let's activate the palette tool. Click this icon here, and now download the top 20 palettes. Close this window, set the number of colors to 4, and set it to cycle mode. You can now use the color wheel to select new palettes. Back in the effects pipeline for deck A, set the intensity up to see this color tool in action. Any effect can be added to any of the deck's pipelines by clicking and dragging like this, as well as added to pipeline E to affect the final output from the crossfader. Remember, when you're done using Crescent Sun, close the program using the shutdown button, which is in the settings menu so that it doesn't accidentally get pressed during a show. Those are the basics of everything for now. Thanks for tuning in.